thousands of people for 60K jobs, 120K jobs, and 200K plus executive roles, and have also helped thousands of job shoppers land corporate roles at all levels. And while the core principles of job searching don't change, right? Our resume still gotta pop. You still need to be great in interviews, but the strategy, that changes a bit on your leveling and salary target. Though some of the strategies I will teach you for, say, the 200,000K jobs, those strategies will still help you stand out a lot for others. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what actually works and what to completely ignore so that you don't lose more job offers. Depending on if you're aiming for $60,000, $120,000, or $200,000 up roles, we're gonna go through all of it. And we're going to start with Tier 1, the $60,000 job seeker. If you're looking to land a $60,000 or so job, your biggest priority is one thing: proof of ability. You need to convince someone to invest in you or even fully take a chance on you if you have limited experience, transferable skills, or are doing a career pivot. Here's how you do that. Build credibility through action. If you don't have 3 to 5 years of experience in that field, then build a body of work that will make them stop and look twice. Want to be in marketing? Run a small ad campaign for a local business. Want to be in project management? Use a project management tool to run a community event, document it, and then treat it like a case study. This is the age of portfolios, even outside of design. Next, beat the application black hole. I am not a huge fan of applying online, but applying online on a job board for a $60,000 a year role is okay, because at this level, hiring managers typically aren't exclusively tapping their professional networks and keeping the role off of job boards. But a lower level job means that more people in the world have that level of skills to be qualified for it. So you can't simply apply and pray to Dolly Parton for the best. So while networking is usually the fastest way to land jobs, if you're applying online for jobs, do these 2 things to dramatically increase your number of interviews. First, try to apply within 24 hours of that role going live. You might as well be an egg, because I want you to scramble. Set up all of your alerts, filters, bookmark your target company's career site, all of that. Speed is your friend, but actually also still complete the different parts of the application. Still focus on quality over quantity. Second, find the hiring manager or the recruiter on LinkedIn and send a short, specific message that quickly says that you're very interested in that role and that you just applied, and then toss in 1 to 2 sentences of why you are well qualified for that role, and focus 100% on hard skills. Hard skills win you the interview, soft skills win you the offer. The reason this works is because hiring teams are inundated with more applications now than ever due to the widespread use of AI by job seekers. So by you reaching out personally and making it clear why you're the right fit shows that you are in the minority of people who actually intentionally applied to this role and that you actually want it. You would be shocked to see how many people apply to roles they don't want and in no way are qualified for. It's dizzying, like eating an entire Snickers bar in one sitting. I can't do that anymore. Can you? And if you've hired for a role, you know what I'm talking about. Share your experiences in the comments. And finally, get feedback loops going early. Many $60,000 a year job seekers send out 100 plus applications and get nothing back because they never test their strategy. If you've pursued 10 open jobs and gotten interviews at none of them, you need to reevaluate your approach. If you did 3 first-round interviews and never made it to the next round, something needs to evolve before you accept your next interview. I will link a free quiz to help you deduce what is keeping you from landing more offers, so that will help to point you in the right direction. I'll link that down below. Tier 2, the $120,000 job seeker. Now, we're in the 6-figure range and the game changes. The stakes increase for you because the company feels the pressure of making this hire correctly. You're expensive. The company could get two 60Kers for the price of your tuchus. And you possibly are managing other people at this level. And so if you're a poor hire, you are going to make a big negative impact on the team. At this level, you want to make sure you're not blending in. You're qualified enough, but so are dozens of other candidates. Here's the strategy. First, positioning is everything. In your job search, you are not selling your experience. You're selling your ability to solve the company's challenges. This is why talking in accomplishments is better than talking in responsibilities. You could say, I was responsible for running operations across departments. Okay, just because you were responsible for it doesn't mean you were any good. I am responsible for getting my butt to the gym, but I haven't been in 4 years.
Game? What's a game?
But instead, if you say, I streamlined cross-functional operations for 3 departments, reducing average project timelines by 22% and cutting vendor costs by over $500,000 within a year, that's a bit better. Figure out what your angle is. Because at $120K, you're being compared to other top performers, and there has to be proof in the pudding that you can deliver better than Pizza Hut.
Deliver.
Tip number 2. It's best to be a known quantity. I want your interview answer when they ask you, why are you leaving your job? Or why are you interested in this job? I want you to immediately say, well, when the recruiter on your team, Francesca, reached out to me after finding me on LinkedIn, I had to look into this opportunity. Or after talking to Frederico in accounting about working here, I got curious. You are dropping names like I drop popcorn in a movie theater. At the $120,000 job level, your next job will likely come through a conversation or being sourced on LinkedIn, not necessarily a job board. Many of my clients at this career level report over 50% of their interviews coming to them without applying, purely inbound, of them being found on LinkedIn. And if that's not currently happening for you, I will link a free job shopping workshop below to share more on this strategy. So I want you to warm up your network and measure your job search in interactions, not applications. Meet people at your target companies. Catch up with former coworkers. You never know where each conversation can lead you next. Just don't wait for a listing. Plant seeds. Tip 3, don't just answer, co-create. This is a subtle strategy, but so powerful. To land a $120,000 plus a year job, you're not being hired just to execute. You're being hired to think, build, collaborate. So when an interviewer asks, how would you build this process in this role? Don't treat it like a quiz with one right answer.
Moose.
What are meese?
No.
Most candidates will start rattling off a step-by-step plan as if they fully understand the company's inner workings after reading a job description and going through one 45-minute call. Instead, shift the conversation. Say something like, I've had a general approach that I've used to build that kind of process before, but I'd want to understand more about what's already in place and what's worked so far and what hasn't worked. And then you'd ask questions like, which parts of the process are already built? What's broken or causing friction right now? What tools are you already using? This works so well because most interviewers don't want to be pitched. They want to be heard. They want to see that you get it and have a vision for how you'd respond in the role. And then bring in your perspective. Now that you have context, you can say, here's what I've done in similar roles, and here's how I'd adapt that based on what you just shared. And now this isn't just this one-way answer. It is a live problem-solving session. You're modeling how you'd show up in the actual role. And in real life, you wouldn't just jump in and build a new process on day one without asking questions. You'd pull in stakeholders, you'd understand the pain points, and then build something that works. And by showing that in the interview, you build trust. Tier 3, the $200,000 plus job seeker. At this level, they are hiring you for a role that is high stakes. It will impact the strategy and many team members. And if they make a wrong move here, a lot of people are going to be shaking their fists. So how do you make this high ticket sale of your skills that puts them at ease enough to take the leap? Well, tip one, your next role won't likely be in plain sight. If you're going for a $200,000 plus role, the one you will land is likely unposted. It will probably come from a headhunter, a back channel referral, past colleague pulling you into a newly created VP or C-level seat, or a bridge troll where he has you answer his riddles 3. Your job is to be known, respected, and seen as a solution to a high-level problem. That means do a bit of high-level networking. Connect with founders, employees, board members, investors. Next, consider thought leadership. Write about what you're seeing in the market. Tell anecdotes from your work and publish industry insights. Build recruiter partnerships. So be on the radar of recruitment firms. Now, this includes building relationships with search firms, but also optimizing your profile on LinkedIn and other industry-specific platforms to show up when they are looking for someone like you. One of my specialties is getting job seekers to have job interviews come inbound. I mean, hello, I wrote Reverse the Search after all. So I will link a LinkedIn profile checklist to get you started. Tip 2, craft your narrative like a fundraising pitch. You're not just a candidate, you are a strategic investment. At the executive level, companies aren't hiring you to fill a job description. They're investing in you to drive outcomes. And when people invest, they need a story. That's what this point is all about. You need to frame your career like a high ROI investment, the same way a startup founder would pitch a venture capitalist. Let's break this down. Compare these two intros for a $200,000 plus job. The first is a typical senior level intro. I'm a senior operations leader with 20 years of experience in software as a service, leading cross-functional teams and scaling systems. Totally fine, totally good. But the next is a fundraising style narrative. I specialize in leading software as a service companies through high growth transitions, such as at my last company, I built systems and teams that scaled revenue from 5 million to 25 million in under 2 years. The first example names that you have experience, but you could have just worked the same year 20 times. Doesn't really mean that you were good and got results. The second is a transformation narrative with a specific problem, approach, and measurable results. Not everyone has a role that ties directly back to revenue. So if you have trouble quantifying achievements, watch my free resume revamp masterclass. I do have a reputation for being able to quantify any role, any task, anywhere, such as an HR leader. Someone who is not even close to the revenue might say, I come in when a company needs to scale from under 100 to 500 plus people. I've done it twice, once during hypergrowth, once during a turnaround. See, when you craft a narrative like a fundraising pitch, you're saying, here's the exact type of problem I solved. Here's proof I've solved it before, and here was the result. And finally, here's how I would do it again, this time for you. You're not just looking for a job, you're offering a solution to a very expensive problem. Tip 3, focus on decision makers. At this level, many $200,000 roles and above are hired when the right person is found, not necessarily like a traditional job opening where there's a job description, then it hits job boards, and so on. So get focused in your job search and then have conversations with decision makers like executives and founders about what you can bring to the table. Before you reach out, do your best to research what you can about the company. This is what top job candidates research before job interviews, recent funding rounds or leadership changes, the CEO's latest interviews or LinkedIn posts, product launches, layoffs or expansion news, signals from Glassdoor, investor memos or earning calls. And one place I really like to look is their job opening. These can tell a lot about what the company is focused on. What are they putting money towards? Are they growing? Not really growing? There's a lot of clues here. You're looking for leverage points where your expertise directly aligns with a current need or tension inside the org. Reach out with a point of view, not, hi, I'm looking for a role, but something more like, over the last 5 years, I've led 2 major hospital systems through EHR transitions that reduced clinical documentation time by 30% and an improved physician satisfaction score. I saw your recent partnership with tech vendor. If you're navigating operational changes or need support driving adoption across departments, I'd love to share what's worked in similar environments. Know the business and speak their language. And when you do, they'll start making space for you. Which level of job are you going for? Drop 60, 120, 200 plus in the comments. I'm very curious to see where folks who are watching are aiming. And go ahead and enjoy that quiz to figure out how to pivot your approach, or enjoy the job shopping webinar I have linked below. You've got this. Wi-Fi high five.